All right, I'm currently on the phone with ML. He's a musician that reached out about this current wave of interview sessions. So I'm going to go ahead and give him the chance to introduce himself.
Hey, Alex. Alrighty, my name is ML, and that is the name I go by when I am on stage or with my band, I guess. But I am ML. I'm the drummer currently of Broton. Live in Cleveland and been playing for almost 40 some years. I started when I was 13, 14, and I'm now 56 and still rocking. Did take some time off in the 2000s for a back surgery, but other than that, I've pretty much been consistently in Cleveland bands. Started in high school with a buddy of mine, Roy Gersten, in Mystic, and did that for a number of years. And I moved on to some other things. I was in Space Corps with Dave and Pat from Destructor, which morphed into Nucleon, and we had a really successful run with Nucleon, doing the stoner rock stuff, and more recently, me and the guitarist Rich Stroha of Nucleon put together Broton with a young bass player we found here in Cleveland named Mr. Peyton Meeks, an incredibly talented kid. So right now, we're kind of taking it a little easy. I am recovering from rotator cuff surgery, so I will not be performing until probably end of March, April. But go ahead.
I'll bet that kind of puts a damper on any sort of drumming.
It does. Well, we've done a couple of these local Cleveland benefits called Dog Rock, put together by Nick Lewis of Galactic Reptile. Great dude, great band, great cause, great people. And I probably shouldn't have played the last one because I think I did more damage than good. But yeah, Rich and Peyton and I were actually fortunate enough to get another local Cleveland music extraordinaire, Mr. Terry Johnson. He is in Bessemer Saints in Olathe, and he's doing, the name escapes me right now, but he's doing like a Christmas rock band that he's doing now. So he's busy. But he's come down and we've become really tight, and he is actually filling in anything as far as Broton and drumming needs while I'm recouping from my surgery. So.
Awesome. Well, let's kind of dive into some details. Tell me about when you kind of first came in contact with music and realized that it was going to have a larger impact on your life.
Well, that's easy. My fifth birthday, 1973, June 7th, 1973, turning 5 years old. Folks at that time they all worked, and mom and dad were working Friday nights, and the babysitter took me to see Deep Purple at Cloverleaf. And I remember it. I remember it very well. I remember really like just not knowing what the hell was going on and being seated in front of the stage and seeing Blackmore and Lord and Pace and Dylan and Glover. And that basically set the path of rock and roll, I guess. There's no other way to say it. I saw Deep Purple when I was 5, and it pretty much changed my life. And my folks kind of, helped along, and I was really into music as a kid. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, so all the bands that are now considered classic rock are, that's what I grew up with that stuff. Zeppelin and Sabbath and Kiss. I was a huge Kiss fan, and still am to this day, but I was just...
So tell me a bit about that transition from identifying the fact that you wanted to play an instrument to learning the instrument. So like, did you just kind of pick up their albums and start playing along, or did you do private lessons? What was that process like for you?
I actually didn't start playing. I knew I wanted to play drums because I remember just staring at Ian Pace at that, being 5 years old watching Ian Pace. But I actually didn't start playing drums till I was maybe 12 or 13. I'd played saxophone previously, but had begged mom and dad to get me a drum set, and finally they did. But I am all 100% self-taught. I never took a lesson. I don't know paradiddles. I don't know how to read music. I know how to play what I feel. Biggest influence is probably John Bonham. Obviously, like Peter Criss, the mainstays that everyone says, oh, I'm influenced by them. Well, I really was. I taught myself. I put on albums and play whole sides of albums. Physical Graffiti by Zeppelin was probably one that I really got my skills down. But yeah, I'm pretty much self-taught, and I just play how I feel, which unfortunately for some people is too loud. But as a drummer, I don't think you can play too loud. I don't know.
Well, let's discuss a little bit about how that became a band. So, it will advance a few years. Say, you kind of figured out your instrument, started learning. How did you kind of get people together? You mentioned that you've been playing for a while, so I'm going to assume that your first band was before the internet.
Oh, much before, yeah. People at school, they find out you play an instrument or something other than a band instrument. I had buddies that, we basically all started playing instruments at the same time, guitarists and bass players. And my oldest brother played guitar, and his buddies, some of them were musicians. So I got introduced to the Cleveland music scene really early, I would say like 8th or 9th grade even. But yeah, it was basically dudes from school, a couple different projects with different dudes. You get together and work stuff out and see where it went, and kind of took it that way. But yeah, like I said, my real first band was with the Cleveland guitarist. We're still close friends, Roy Thurston. We put together Mystic with, just so happened, JJ Zakula, rest in peace, of Mushroomhead, was in Mystic with us, and his brother Brian, who was in Terror and a bunch of other more metal, not metal, but more extreme metal type bands. And we did that for quite a number of years. And, we'd have members come and go, but that main core of probably me, Roy, and JJ, we call him JZ, but we were together for a number of years. And, we were 16 years old playing down on Shadows at Brook Park Road. And I'll never forget, we did a band wars there. And, we're all in high school and shit, and Spoiled, Billy Morris and Ross LaPinta's band, we beat them by like 3 or 4 votes or something. They were mad, we could tell, but and it just continues on through the high school. And then after high school, I was already pretty much established as, wanting to be in a band and perform and be on stage. And, I really haven't, it's not a career per se, but more or less like a professional hobby, I guess you would say.
Well, tell me a bit about what the motivation was in that time frame. Was it just to play music, or were you looking for a specific band that you fit really well with? What were you kind of looking for through all those kind of formative years of going through different bands?
It was pretty much just about being involved with music and having that outlet to, play my drums and jam with friends and meet new people along the way. I mean, the Cleveland music scene is so big and diverse and thriving, and it always has been like that. I don't think there's ever been a dull moment in the Cleveland music scene. And I'm fortunate enough to have been part of it for, like I said, close to over 40 years. So it would be a thing like, me and 2 dudes were buds. We grew up and we kept it going, and maybe one dude went another way and I went another, but we all still maintain contact, and we talk to each other a lot, and we play with each other's bands. Sometimes that even happens. But I think it's part of being part of a community of musicians that really appealed to me. And I like performing. I like being on stage. I mean, you're up there for 30, 40, 50 an hour, however long. And there's no other feeling than being on stage. And I'm of the philosophy, if I'm playing in front of 5 people or 500 people, 5,000 people, I'm still playing the same. It's just that feeling of being up there, I guess.
Sure, absolutely. So tell me a bit about what you think one of the main ingredients is to keeping a band together.
You gotta be family. You gotta be family, man. You turn into brothers, and I've been in bands with females too. It's like they're sisters too. You gotta love and respect each other, and be nice, be cool, and you're gonna have arguments, of course, but it's how you handle it is my philosophy. It's not about the argument. It's how you handle it. And, there's been ups and downs with me playing, but across the board, one of the most important things is you got to definitely like, and then probably even eventually love the people that you're playing with. Because if not, any friction will become evident when you're jamming, practicing, or doing a show or in the studio. I mean, all that becomes evident. So if you got a grudge with somebody, you don't want to, you're not going to hang out with them and be in a band with them. So, but yeah, you treat each other with respect and like family. And I mean, I've been in bands that have lasted over 10 years. So.
Okay. And so you mentioned at the beginning of the interview that you do have a current project that you're with while you're working through an injury. Somebody else is subbing for you. Tell me about that project.
Name of the band is Broton. You can find us on Facebook. We got together. It consists of me on drums and vocals, Rich Troha on guitar and vocals, and Peyton Meeks on bass and vocals. It's just a three-piece. It's kind of, we call it, we think of it, we really can't define it, but we say it's stoner metal punk rock. Stoner metal punk. I don't even know, because Peyton leans more towards a punk. He's a younger dude. He likes a lot of punk stuff. I do as well, but I'm more like the metal dude and stoner metal dude, and Rich is more into the, Caius and stoner metal. But I mean, we all love music, obviously, but we've been together with Peyton for about a year and a half. We've done about 5, 6, 7 shows. We've done, like I mentioned, Dog Rock benefits. We're this whole Rotator Cuff thing kind of threw us off. We were looking to get in the studio before the end of the year, but probably be spring by the time we get in the studio. But we've done about 7 or 8 shows, I think, 6, 7, 8 shows, and they have been very well received. So we're definitely, we think we found something that Cleveland wants to hear more of.
Good. So my next question is, what has happened to you? Tell me about the impacts that have made your life what it is, and what has guided you to get where you are now. Wow.
Obviously, being involved in music at such a young age. That's a tough question. I don't know. I kind of, for a number of years, just kind of went with the flow. And more recently, I think I've become more, more relaxed with situations, I guess. But I don't know. I did go to college. I graduated from college with a bachelor's in sports management last year at age 55. I'm getting my master's now. So I kind of got that whole discipline thing down. It took me 55 years, but I got it down finally. Being a musician, how disciplined are you? But then again, you have to be if you want to survive. And I mean, music industry is not just something that you jump into and, I'm going to be a rock star. Hell no, that doesn't happen. That's like saying I'm going to move to Hollywood and be in a movie. Whatever, dude. Good luck. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of determination, and a lot of self-drive, I guess. And I think I found that self-drive a while ago. And, and again, it's like, if you hook up with the right people and you click and you spend a lot of time together, you get to know each other. Like me and Rich and even Peyton, we're like brothers, man. And I don't know if that's how the name came up, but Broton, brothers and whatever. But again, and it all goes back. I was affected a lot in my life by being involved in the Cleveland music scene. I'm sorry, being around musicians. I go to shows all the time, local and national acts. I mean, a little different now. It's tougher to get out as much as I'd like to, but it's about supporting each other and, faith, determination, that kind of stuff.
Sure, absolutely. So you mentioned that we can find your current project on Facebook. Do you have any other social media links that you want to throw out there?
I don't think so. We're like old dudes.
Okay, sure.
I know there's Instagram and Snapchat, but I don't think we've actually done any of that. Um, I probably should look into it though, shouldn't I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Get
I guess I will.
if not for any other reason, just to make sure you reserve your username.
There you go. There you go. Good thinking.
All right. So I always like to give the person that I'm interviewing the opportunity to put out their last word. So what's a message that you have that you want to share with other people?
Pretty straightforward. Have trust in yourself. Have trust in people. Do the right thing. And in the words of Pete Townsend, rock and roll will always overcome.